Hello and welcome to Warcraft Daily for today, the 12th of September 2013. So, in today's show we have the new Warchief, which I will not spoil until the very end, a whole bunch of hotfixes, some of my thoughts on the patch, and hello to all the new people. So, let's get rolling. Now, new Warchief, I'm not going to say anything about it now, but stay tuned at the end of the show, and we can have a chat about who it is and perhaps what it might mean for the Horde. Now, next up, hotfixes, and a lot of people have been having problems. Albatrosses being one thing, Dread Ship Vesuvius doing ridiculous amounts of damage with its cannons, and some of the Ordon mobs ridiculously murdering people. So to fix that, Dread Ship Vesuvius is doing less damage with its cannons, and the Ordon mobs, which I think are the Killing Master and the Berserker, they no longer will charge people out of combat. It was pretty weird, like if you had an Ordon Killing Master especially, that was like flagged for combat, and you were just minding your own business, walking past them, opening a chest, they would charge you and instantly kill you. That was probably not the most fun of AI, so hopefully that bug will indeed be fixed. That's a good thing. As always, I'll just show a picture, like a screenshot of them in the background because, well, I don't want to read them all out. Now, they said they're aware of the Albatross problem and will probably hotfix it soon. It's kind of ridiculous, and I guess a lot of the Isle's design makes it kind of silly day 1, day 2, day 3 when it's just so heavily populated. But hey, hopefully it'll get better. Now, let's talk about the patch in general. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the Siege of Orgrimmar. And it's interesting. Siege is not... it's hard saying this because our raid group is pretty much all item level 530 plus. So we went into the Siege of Orgrimmar, and the way we worked, there's 12 people, so we just slash-rolled for the DPS spots. I ended up not getting in last night, but I'm guaranteed the rest of the week, which is 3 nights I think, so that's pretty nice. Now, that group, they were able to one-shot, or two-shot Immersius, because one of the tanks fucked up the first time. It would have been a one-shot otherwise. They were able to 3-shot Protectors, again because of a tank mess-up that got everyone killed. And they got Nourishen down to 7% before they had a wipe. It was either 5% or 7%, something ridiculous. Now, other things, like, there's some of the really hardcore guilds have cleared the place, and they're just, sitting back, chilling, waiting out for heroics to unlock. And, of course, the heroic race is really where the things matter. I think normal in this, I'm not really sure if the normal is too easy, like undertuned or something like that, or whether it's just that we're going in with really good gear, because our gear level's probably about 15 higher, because we have done a little bit of Throne of Thunder heroic, a little bit higher than perhaps what Blizzard would expect for normal. Also, they were talking about how the Siege of Orgrimmar has got a much more smooth difficulty curve. When I say smooth difficulty curve, I pretty much just mean that, the bosses, the difficulty gets, higher and higher and higher as you go on. Now, the thing is, Throne of Thunder didn't have that, because you had Jinrock, which was an absolute joke. Then you had Horadon, who at least in 10-man was rock hard until he was nerfed. Then you had Council, who were very difficult on 10 until they were nerfed. Then you have Tortos, who was simple, Megara, who was pretty simple, G-Kun, who was even easier, and then you move on to Primordius, who after you get a tactic down, pretty simple. It's funny, once we got over the sort of initial 3 bosses, we were just getting kills and kills and kills every week. Kinda weird, but whatever. Tier 15 was great. Now, that that's done, I've also done some flex raiding myself. Gotta say, flex, ridiculously easy. To me it feels like the difficulty of LFR, but with the added bonus of better communication. So I actually think that if you're just the kind of guild that wants to see that content, they want to get a little bit of that progression feeling, get some half decent gear, and at least get to see a version of the raid that's far closer to, I guess, what Blizzard would ideally be designing for, then flex is great. I know it was very easy, but my opinions are very positive on it. And flex, while it is easy, you still need to conform to the tactics. I mean, one of the groups I was in on the second boss, we kept on wiping because people were not doing the tactics right, so it's not an absolute cakewalk. Now, let's talk about the Isle. So I was going there on a hunter, and this pretty much meant that through getting all the chests and stuff, I have a full set of epic mill tokens, so I guess whenever I get a hypothetical, shaman to appear, I can gear him up. But yeah, the Isle's really fun. Of course, right now the main issue is there's so many players that there's the Albatross problem. Now that Vesuvius and the Ordon mobs have been fixed, it should be a little bit less frustrating. That's always a good thing. I think they also fixed a bug with the Zarim thing, but whatever. So yeah, there's that. The world bosses got horrifically nerfed, by the way. They had about 350 million health. They weren't challenging, but they were, you know, they were still an actual boss that needed to be killed, not the joke that they are now. But holy crap, you can just go in there and absolutely YOLO swag them. And really, YOLO swagging them it's the only word in my vocabulary. It's probably my most hated phrase, but oh, why did they have to nerf these so badly? I suppose on the other side of the coin, these bosses were pretty powerful. They certainly did have the potential to kill people, and because they kept on respawning nearly instantly after the previous one was defeated, it, I guess, was kind of ripe for griefing. So maybe it is just easier to have it be a free shot at loot every tier, or every week. So yeah, there's that. As for the Isle stuff, I'd highly recommend getting in a group with people. The reason for that is because it seems to like share the time this coin drops. Like, say you're in a group with somebody and you both kill one mob, you both get the full amount of coins. That's what I think it is at the minute, which pretty much means if you're in a group, you know, it's just exponentially faster and faster. I was in a group one point where at the Firewalker Ruins, pretty much every mob there that was being killed was tagged by us, by the 5 of us. So it was just like Showhower everywhere, timeless coins everywhere. I now have 15,000 of them. I have no idea what to do with them. I'll probably just sink them into Burdens of Eternity or trinkets, something like that. Actually, I got a 540 trinket from Siege of Orgrimmar, which is pretty nice. So yeah, there's that. I know today's not a very news-heavy day, but as we go on and Blizzard start actually talking about the patch, talking about 5.5, which should happen, I'd say, within the next month for the 5.5 stuff, but we should have regular news schedule probably back, I'd say, next Monday. Probably. Now, one thing, I want to say hello to all the new people. The channel has grown at an absolutely frightening rate. I was at 2,600 subscribers, now I'm nearly at 3,000. That's ridiculous. I mean, I normally get like 5,000 views or 4,000 a day. I got 15,000 on the day when most of my videos didn't come out. I just can't wait for YouTube analytics to like refresh. So yes, to everyone who subscribed and is now watching this, thank you. I hope you enjoy the place. This is probably not the best Warcraft daily, honestly, because, well, I have to hold the interesting bit at the end because it's a spoiler. So yeah, there we go. Now, speaking of spoilers, this is your final warning about the new Warchief. Fuck it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, if you're here, you probably want to hear. So, the new Warchief is vol'jin. And this is pretty much what everyone expected, because at the end of the day, he was the one who led the revolution. He was the instigator of that whole thing. Right now we know, like, the 2 different cutscenes, and I'll just play one of them in the background, like a clip from it. It's an excellent cutscene. Now, I'm Alliance and I've only seen the Horde version, but what I can say is finally Thrall gets some balls, and he's literally about to absolutely lay down the smack, and then Varian comes in and says, nope, that's not how we roll. But it's great, you know, Thrall comes off as a badass, vol'jin comes off as a bit of a badass too, and Varian is actually one of the stars of the show there, because he's very menacing at the end. He's just like, this is good, I'm glad we helped you, but if you ever go back to being a bunch of dicks, we will destroy you, which was quite nice. So even in the Horde cinematic, the Alliance got their, quote, Alliance fist pump moment, which is kind of nice. But yeah, there you go, Warcraft Daily for today covered. Actually no, let's talk about vol'jin. Because vol'jin is a very different guy to Garrosh, and what does this mean in terms of the story? And also in terms of Wrathion. Now, what Wrathion wanted to do was make the Alliance absolutely crush the Horde, so that the entire of Azeroth would be unified. And once the new patch, the new expansion comes in, because Wrathion thinks the Burning Legion are coming, therefore Azeroth needs to be united and able to fight them. Which sounds like a pretty sound course of action. Now, the way things have turned out, vol'jin respects Varian, because vol'jin knows that the Alliance pretty much came and helped them in not full force, but in significant force near the end, and when they probably could have just steamrolled the rebels afterwards, they didn't. That means the Alliance and Horde, they're still probably, you know, like, if you were an Alliance person, you went into a Horde city, you'd probably be killed, but, like, they seem to be a little bit more friends. It's like, they're not North Korea anymore as far as the Alliance is concerned, if you know what I mean. So I think in the next expansion perhaps there'll be a little bit more unity. I'm kind of sad that there's never been a full-scale war that's actually been, in my opinion, justified in-game and via the story, but I guess, like, it's pretty good. And when I say full war, I mean, like, actual war, shit's going down. If you go to, say, Ashenvale, Northern Barrens, and use some of the levels there, Imagine those like ramped up to 11. That is kind of what I wanted, but I don't think we'll ever really get that. Anyway, I think things are shaping up great to be the next expansion, and the way things are left, 5.5 will be a very cool patch from the story sort of perspective. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please like and subscribe, and with that, I'll see you next time.